it's a local event, that's one thing, and we have not seen a Tea Party event in Marin County, and so it's nice to know that we could get out of the bunker and, you know, come and watch the underground come to life.
Well, this is excellent. I'm surprised in this bastion of wealth, one of the wealthiest counties in the state, that there are this many conservative people, even though you look at the BMWs out there and the SUVs, but at least these people are concerned, and they're concerned about leaving a country to their children and their grandchildren that's not going to be encumbered with a lot of debt.
There needs to be, I think, to really reform everything, there really needs to be a lot of different changes. And I don't think it all come at once, but we're definitely moving into the right direction as far as what the changes need to be. So, yeah.
I see more and more people who are very, very liberal in my community, and I live in a very liberal community, who are really fed up with a lot of the regulation that's going on, a lot of the intrusion into their private lives, a lot of the digging into their pockets for money. There's just no end to it.
Congress doesn't listen to the people. We are a representative government, a government by the people, of the people, for the people.
And what we have is a country that is of the corporations, by the corporations, and for the corporations. And I'm mad as hell.
I'm especially concerned about the fact that we seem to have lost our bearing regarding the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States was created for a reason. It tells us what the government is not allowed to do regarding our lives. That's why we have the Bill of Rights and the subsequent amendments. It tells us specifically what the government can and can't do.
You've completely divorced yourselves from the biblical foundations of the Constitution, and we're just in a big mess right now.
Our whole foundation to this country is at risk, and we have people that are supposed to be representing us, and they're doing nothing for us.
When we place them in a position of making decisions, we expect them to do it for the good of the entire country, not for any special interest group, certainly not for themselves.
All 535 of them allegedly work for us. And I say allegedly because that's what the founders expected a couple hundred years ago, but that's not what's really happening.
All of our forefathers, whether they were actually your genetic ancestors or not, they died for these principles of freedom that I feel like we're giving up now.
Stop the socialist method of government.
America is the best thing that ever happened in modern days, and yet we are asked to look for role models of other countries ran by dictators.
I come from a socialist country, USSR, from Ukraine, and I've seen it. I've seen the same rhetoric they're using. People in America, they haven't heard this rhetoric. That's why it doesn't ring the bell, but it rings the bell perfectly for me. Workers of the world unite, SCIU. Obama, right? Spreading the wealth. Spreading the wealth, what is that? That's socialist. That's contrary to what this country stands for. Capitalism, free market, leave people alone.
There is nothing good in socialism. All of us are equally poor. We are all depressed because all of us are poor. And the way we go and get that anger, vent out depression or anger, it's just drink. And we don't want that to happen over here because we've seen it.
Sweep the socialist left out of office in America. I want to see them politically destroyed, and I'd like to see the America that I learned about back in the 50s and 60s as a kid restored to primacy.
When it comes to illegal immigration, I'm tired of fighting this battle, but I will keep fighting because I just think it's wrong what you're doing. We're letting too many people here. They have no respect for our country. They're taking American jobs which should go to Americans. We need to call for a moratorium on immigration, especially with the economy the way it is.
We've got aliens coming into the country, about 30 million of them, who have stripped the carcass clean. So here in California, we're spending about $7.7 billion a year educating Mexican children.
I would like to secure the borders and then create an immigration policy where the applicants from other countries will have to pass a proficiency test on a rigorous test on the American Constitution, on the English language, and that if they commit any kind of crime, they'll be deported immediately.
giving it to people who don't have initiative, that can't create companies, and cannot multiply the effect of their labors is a poor use of our money.
I am sick and tired of full-time politicians that have nothing better to do than to steal our money and throw it away to build their own power base. They're only interested in their power and ruling over us.
I can't believe for $787 billion, the bang for the buck, that not every street is paved in the country, not every bridge repaved, and we're not building 900 nuclear power plants so we don't have to buy any foreign oil.
Cut the budget with a meat cleaver. Make it a 10% across the board if you must, but do it now.
Our government and our country are in a lot of trouble. Our economy is not going to recover until we do something about our fiscal deficit.
Our entire United States economy has gone through a deindustrialization, and the problem is we need real leadership. We have a void of leadership.
It's ridiculous. Constitution, there's nothing in the Constitution that said that Congress and the President is there to spend a bunch of our money, and it's our money.
Spending and putting our children into slavery, essentially by making them poor and not having the chance of the American dream.
They're spending beyond their means. We're not supposed to do that as citizens, and they should not do that as members of Congress.
We need to get out of debt. We need to reform our monetary system. We need to stop the inflation. We need to stop the overspending. It's going to ruin us. It's destroying this country, what they're doing. That's the biggest thing we have to change.
The IRS should be abolished, and the Federal Reserve should be abolished, and it should be done immediately.
When you do that, go back to honest money, you will solve the cost of health care and every other cost in the nation when we have a solid currency.
I'm maddest right now because they're not focusing on the economy, that they've wasted over a year on this stupid health care plan.
And we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what's going to happen. We see what the government run businesses like the post office or the DMVs. We know how they run. And just to imagine my health care being managed by the government, it scares the heck out of me.
But if you really want to lower health care costs, look at tort reform, which has been shown by the Congressional Budget Office that it will significantly reduce health care costs.
And it's really unfortunate that we have a Congress now that thinks 1,000-page, 2,000-page bills are okay, that fundamentally transform the private sector of this nation and the freedoms that we were given by God.
And you need to go back to your constituents and sit down and talk with them and listen to what they have to say. And when you go back to Washington, you need to represent them. And you cannot continue to stack town halls with people who agree with you and then go back to Washington and say, hey, my constituents support this bill.
I'm opposed to Nancy Pelosi for virtually everything that she stands for. Particularly, I'm opposed to her position on health care, and for that reason, I want her to be removed from the Congress. I'd like to see her out and gone forever.
And she's got that lion Harry Reid in the Senate that's going right along with her, spending every dime, that not only for our generation, but 3 generations to come, with absolutely no conscience about it. Okay? They got to stop the spending, pay for what they do spend going forward from here on out, and do it with honesty. And regardless of how you rearrange the word honesty, you can't spell Pelosi with it. She's got to go.
All of the legislation you're supporting is taking away from my future. Some people think it was supposed to wait until their kids grew up, but it hasn't. It's already on my back. I will never have enough money for retirement, and I'd like to know how that makes you feel, and if it doesn't make you feel anyway, know my name, Rachel Higgs. I'm going to make sure you are out in 2010.
Reset, reset, reset Congress in 2010.
Yes, I would. I think it would be a very good idea to reset the Congress in 2010.
Reset.
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 Reset button beep.
And especially because we're approaching the census, reapportionment, and redistricting in every state. We're going to be reallocating all the congressional seats, and it's a perfect time to reset. Absolutely perfect time to do it.
Reset
Congress.
2010. 2010.
2010.
2010.
You don't have to take it anymore.
Reset 2010. Get the bums out.
Send them to jail.
Thank you, America, and God bless you.
There are conservatives in the Bay Area.